This is the Imperial News Agency. The following is issued by the Office of the Spokesman. It is the 21st of the 3rd month, 2174. Our lead this evening. The Northern Line has returned 4 days to the program. The buffer stations on the Northern Line have run above design capacity since the 11th. The stations hold transferred load in transit between the surface relays and the archive clusters, and each station is rated for a fixed throughput across a fixed interval. Since the 11th they have carried more than the rating, and carried it for longer, and the reseeding schedule has advanced by 4 days as a result. The Council attributes the gain to the margin written into the original specification. The spokesman said the margin had been held in reserve for 90 years and that the Council had elected to draw on it rather than leave it idle. He was asked whether the stations would be returned to rated throughput. He said that was a question of scheduling. He was asked when the scheduling would be published. He said in due course. To the surface. Clearance in the temperate districts totaled 412 tons this week, against a target of 400. The figure is 3% above target and is the 4th consecutive week above target. The Council records the figure as material. Material is weighed at the district edge, consolidated at the Northern Line, and entered against the closing inventory of the district in which it was lifted. No breakdown by category is published. None is required under the schedule. Crews in the eastern temperate districts have asked that the weighing stations be resited outboard of the residential grid. The request is with the Council. The spokesman said the matter was one of logistics, and that logistics are under review. The vote on cost sharing will be held in 3 weeks. Under the proposal, the operating cost of the shared archive would be met in part by those held within it. An operator would give consent to the continued storage of consciousness data in exchange for scheduled labor, at a rate of hours reviewed annually by the Council. The spokesman set out the position again this afternoon. The output of the star, he said, is without limit, and on the ceiling of the sphere it will be captured in perpetuity and at no recurring cost. Storage, he said, has never been free. It has simply never been billed. The union has asked that the rate of hours be fixed before the vote rather than after it. The request has been received. In labor matters. The first arbitration under the agreement concluded this week. A crew in the northern temperate zone had been scheduled for a continuous operation period of 94 days. The arbitrator found the period exceeded the maximum by 4 days and directed the crew to maintenance without loss of seniority. The Council accepted the finding and did not appeal it. The union's representative said the finding was the agreement working as written. He said the crew had raised the matter on the 61st day, and that the remaining 33 days were worked while the matter was heard. He was asked what the crew had been doing during those 33 days. He said clearance. In personnel notices. Permanent residence on the lunar ring has been granted to the first dependent of the holder of access identity 4A117 of the Directorate of Distribution Control. The grant follows review of the merit file. The file was found in order. Residence takes effect from the 1st of the 4th month. Transfer of registration will be handled by the Directorate, and the scheduled service will carry the cohort from the northern field on a date to be posted. Notices under this section are issued in respect of first dependents. Further notices are issued as they arise. To the archive. Reception across the 17 clusters remains at full integrity. Cluster 4 was rebalanced on the 19th to accommodate the intake of the final cohort, and the Council reports that the rebalance was completed inside its maintenance window. Query response in Cluster 4 is 2% longer than before the rebalance and is within tolerance. The spokesman was asked whether the clusters hold a capacity limit. He said that every system holds a limit and that the archives is not in prospect. He was asked to state the figure. The question was taken as notice. To the solar program. 81.6% of the collection surface is now closed. The final array will seal over the northern solar pole in approximately 8 months. Direct observation of the star from the surface of the Earth will not be possible after that date, and the Council has confirmed again that no exemption will be made for the reseeded biosphere. Surface illumination will be maintained artificially, at the wavelengths the reseeding requires, and at the intensities. Conditions at the ring. A reception will be held in the hall of the second shell on the evening of the 23rd. Residents are reminded that receptions are scheduled on the night side, and that the brightness advisory remains at level 2. Residents on the upper terraces are to observe the standing interval before returning inboard of the third shell. Shell integrity is nominal. Reseeding. The program is in its third year, week 39. Grasses are established across the equatorial band and are being carried into the southern temperate zone on the current rotation. Soil invertebrate density is within tolerance in 11 of the 14 districts sampled. Insects remain scheduled for the 4th year. Birds are not scheduled until the 9th. Record integrity. 21 operators this month. This bulletin is concluded. The ring will receive this bulletin at the usual hour. Clusters are not required to acknowledge.
944-1702, R. 944-1719, K. 945-0883, T. 945-09.